It's great when you go have fun, when you go for a hunt. The problem is fun is hard work. Welcome to the Brewmance. How you doing? My name is Rob Hunter, hanging out with Mike Russell. As we always do, we gather around a beer to have stimulating conversations, open-minded conversations,
Thank you.
well-crafted conversations over a beer. What are we drinking this week, Mike Russell?
I did. There's nothing stimulating about what I got going on, but apparently VooDoo Ranger, apparently New Belgium's all in on their VooDoo Ranger line. VooDoo Ranger apparently is the same dude dressed in different outfits like Ken. So I went with, of course, the VooDoo Ranger American Haze because, you know, America.
So I can see your haze guy there. I have the V2K IPA. So my VooDoo Ranger's dressed a little bit differently. He's got his headphones on. He's got his little cool Russian hat on. He's living the life. So we'll see how they do. Crack it open. So we bring this up that fun is hard work because if you caught last week's podcast or radio show, you know, Mike and I went on a hunt. Mike harvested a bison. I harvested a pig. First time for me in this big game realm. But here's what you may not know or you forget because you get so excited about the hunt. The other part about it, getting the meat, is a pain in the butt. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort, like hours and hours and hours of effort to process your meat.
Yeah, okay. See, you're starting off. This is family programming, Rob. So let's stick to it that way. What this comes from, and this is why I say fun is hard work all the time, is my father-in-law at one point. I told him that thinking I was going to be super funny, I was going to tell him that that vacation when you have kids is not vacation. It's simply relocation. You just take your stuff somewhere else. And he just, instead of like saying, ha, 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 that's funny, there we go. No, he was just deadpan and looked at me and said, you know, fun is hard work. And I thought it was like something hit me in the head. Like it just started flashing back to all of the adventures we've had and stuff that we've done. And man, it's a giant pain in the tuchus. And I think that is, I think it's cool, but it's only cool if you look at it that way, meaning that this is the effort you put towards having memories for a lifetime, but there's no other way to put it. The fun you have that creates that memories is hard work.
Well, and then it comes down to anything else. So I'll use, Amy and I went to Japan in 2018 and it's the planning, right? That's you got to book your flight. You got to figure out where you're going to stay, which hotels you're going to stay in, which cities you're going to stay in. How can you navigate through the cities? All that groundwork is rather challenging, but it must be done. Otherwise, you fly to Japan and you're sitting there like, oh, I'm in Japan. Now what? So it's like the trade-off. Yeah, exactly. And the other challenge, too, is really it's the time that you have to invest to make fun. To, for example, not just in booking hotels, which is relatively easy, but your flight there is you got to fly to LA, and then from LA to Tokyo, for example, is like 11 hours.
That's crazy. That sounds crazy.
That's hard work. Sitting on a plane for 11 hours is hard work because you are trying not to be bored out of your mind. You're like, oh my God, I got to get off this plane. Oh my God. So
movie number 4.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, normally you think, oh, that sounds great. I can just watch movies for 11 hours. But when you're stuck on a plane, it's not like sitting in your living room where you're like, oh, I can get up, I can go to the fridge, I can get a drink, I can, you know, pause the movie, I can go take a nap. You know, the things that we take as convenience on a plane. You're like sitting straight up and you're like, oh my goodness, just get me there already.
You're thinking,
so it is hard work.
You're thinking I should take a nap, and your lower back's like, oh no, I have other plans. I am going to make you hurt for several hours. But for this hunt, it was coming back and understand. I mean, we harvested 3 hogs and a bison. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of pounds of meat, and that's just the stuff that's at the processor. What we weren't thinking about is all the stuff that we were bringing back. I have tenderloins that are the size of if you cross section the size of ribeye steaks. They're as tall as I am. It's unbelievable. And I had some freezer space, but I had to go buy a freezer. Then I bought a freezer, and that freezer wouldn't keep temp, so I had to get another freezer, take that out, all while this stuff is on ice chest and keeping it dry. And then I have to start processing that. Processing that was not easy. Camping Chad was with us, and I had to help him process his stuff that he brought home, the tenderloins, the ribs, and the like, because he's never done it before. So this is a lot of effort. And by the way, we did that. We came back Monday morning. You and I went to work Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
And I got home about 7:45 and started processing until 1 or 2 in the morning.
Hard
All
work.
of this for all of this. It's seriously all of this for a freezer full of meat, which is a fantastic reward, and it's fun. And all the exciting times I'm going to have with that, sharing that with my people, having Lady Brewmance and Rob over and cooking fun stuff, and the conversations, the stories, the laughs, and all of that. It's so rewarding, but damn, it is a lot of work. And on Thursday, I get a call. I'm sorry. We get a call. Justin gets a call from the processor on Saturday. And the processor, by the way, just said, "Oh, I assumed he was going to tell everyone." Because I told him I didn't get any call from you. And he said, "No, I need you guys to come here and get this quick. I am running out of space. I have more processing coming here. I got this week is going to be slammed. I'm going to run out of room. I need you guys to come here." I had to go up there on Thursday morning. Up there means Flagstaff. I had to drive from Phoenix to Flagstaff, back to Phoenix, divvy up the meat, and then go to work and do a whole show, and then get up the next morning and do another show. So it was a big pain in the butt, but what stays in your mind is not the pain that it was. That story about going up to Flagstaff might be part of the story. If I tell it later on, years from now, it might stick around because it was so not me. I don't get up in the morning and drive to, across the state and back and then go to work. So that might stick. But what is the memory is what leaves the memory is the trip up there. What leaves the memory is the hassle of planning it. What leaves the memory is how much you paid for it. What leaves the memory is the junk that happened afterwards that you have to deal with just to get everything processed properly. And what stays is that middle part, that the nougat in the candy bar, so to speak, that is just perfect. That is just, it sticks in your mind, and that memory is worth everything else. And I think that's why your mind, your soul just says, we're going to go ahead and forget about that.
Or it's part of the process, right? In order to hunt, you have to process the meat. It's a process. That's why they call it processing, right? So I just look at it as part of the whole package. And I think about our ancestors. I think about, we were on land that Native Americans used to live on where we hunted. And I think about how they used to do it. They used to do it without any modern technologies. So I do like a compare and contrast. I'm like, yeah, okay, it might be a little inconvenient to have to drive to Flagstaff, but at least we can drive to Flagstaff. I wish gas prices were a little bit lower for you, Mike.
Amen to that.
So I'll throw in some gas money for you. Throw some gas and beer money for you.
I had to take out a second on the house just to get there and back. Holy cow.
Exactly. But that's what I think is the overall experience. So I tie it to not just the hunt aspect. I tied it into, as we talked about last week, the whole idea that I was able to tap into something that is way older than me. Tap into this human knowledge that has been passed through our DNA somehow, that we are able to do this in modern convenience. So we can take it to the processor and he can process it for us. All we got to do is drive and go get it.
Yeah, it's exciting. But let me ask you this. Was it life-changing? I know you've answered the question before. I just want to remind you.
100%. And that's the big part about even the work that goes in, of which I got out of doing most of because of whatever reason. So
because you got a great big brother like me.
Yeah. Well, I would have never been there in the first place if it wasn't for my great big brother, Mike Russell.
And that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, and I'm not patting myself on the back, it's just I look at our pictures and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I helped facilitate and I started the wheels in motion to something that was life-changing for at least 3 people, and 3 of my people. And I got to do that at this age. Like, I can do life-changing stuff with my kids all the time. I can blow their mind with stuff that they just don't, because they haven't experienced most of life. We have experienced half of our lives. Let's talk like grown-ups. We've at best, we've experienced half of our lives. And this, I got to get you guys to do something that not only you hadn't done before, but that actually changed your thinking, your mind, your manner, like everything. I love it. That's fun is hard work. Life-changing events are hard work, and it's worth it every step of the way.
Yeah, and I would just piggyback on that and back that up 100% completely. So if you focus on the work, you're never going to do fun things. You're never going to take an 11-hour plane ride. You're never going to go for a hunt because you got to process the meat. If you look at the hard work part of it, it can be a detriment. So we'd encourage you not to look at the actual event, the part that blew your mind, to use Mike's term, to go, wow, this was really cool, or something you learned from, or, like, I'll never do that again. But you got to try things. You got to get uncomfortable. It's the only way you figure out how to grow. In a moment, speaking of growth, if we were running the world, there's certain things that we would change. More Mike than me, but we want to talk about that because I think Mike's got a big, long list. When I've had a different change about this, where some things in the past I'd used to change, I'm like, we'll talk about that next on the Brewmance here on 550 KFYI.
Welcome back to the Brewmance, having honest conversations and living that adventurous life. Each and every week, we gather around a beer of the week, and we have the same, I guess, line, but different flavors. Rob, what you got going on over there?
New Belgiums, VooDoo Ranger. I have the V2K IPA. So we'll rate and review these at the very end of the show, so stick around for that.
I got the VooDoo Ranger American Haze. I'm not a giant hazy fan, so we'll see. I'm now going to judge breweries by their hazy. If it meets my standards. That's right. And we had a great time, by the way, Wednesday out with the Husk crew and their launch of Arizona Ranch Water. So that's something that you need to hit the shelves and check it out. And they're in most stores right now. Yeah.
Hudson knows how to do it, man. Their game plan has been solid since they started, which is why they have quickly moved up the ranks to be one of the top sellers in the state of Arizona.
And we were watching some baseball this week because both of our teams in the playoffs, and it was something that we might change. There's some things that we might change. It's an easy no-brainer. I thought that if I were to rule baseball, there would be a pitch clock. No doubt about it in my mind. Just like there's a shot clock in basketball, just like there's a play clock in football, we need to speed the game up just a skosh, make it a little more outreachy for everybody that thinks it's boring. So let's speed the game up just a skosh. And our boss brought one up. Said, something, on any playoff game, as a matter of fact, on any nationally televised game, the local announcers of the home team are what everybody hears. Because I'm tired of hearing Joe Buck, who couldn't care less about either team on the field. And it just, I like to hear the passion of the announcers, whether it's for the Giants, D-backs, or Dodgers, whoever it is, Red Sox. I like to hear that. I like to hear that passion for the team kind of bleed through.
That'd be an interesting change because it would add a little bit more emotional element to it, because either you're going to love the team or hate the team, and you're going to hate the announcer or love the announcer. But like, this announcer's ridiculous. So I'd be all for that. Try it up, because I haven't really watched a full baseball game this season. I don't know why. Just haven't really got into it.
It's a commitment.
And that's it. And that's part of it. So you and the boss, you guys got your packages. You're watching your Dodgers. He's watching his Giants. Whereas I check the Red Sox scores. I'm like, how'd the Red Sox do today? Okay, they won. Oh, they're in a slump. Oh, okay. Oh, they beat the Tampa Bay Rays in the second. Oh, I guess I don't know if it's technically the first round of the playoffs with the wild card now. I don't know. I can't keep track of these things. But the point is, the Red Sox are moving on to the American League Championship Series against the Houston Astros. That's pretty cool. So I got spoiled. Watch out for
banging trash cans, by the way.
Oh, I know. But I got spoiled because, the 2004 season was so magical for Red Sox fans. It's like it's hard to recreate that magic. And, my time management is not great in certain ways. So I don't have a ton of time to watch baseball. But a change like that might make me go, oh, let me check out the game tonight.
Yeah, I remember one of the games this past week. I was watching at my sister's house, and they said, okay, middle of the seventh, time to stretch. And she goes, time to stretch? Feels like this game should be over already.
Especially playoff baseball, because they take like 4 hours a game.
Oh, it's just it's just way too long. But I kind of gotten that vibe. I kind of gotten that feel. I got that, something. If I could just make changes and mandate some changes, I would. If I ruled the world, I'd be making changes. And then Rob got all stoic and judgy on me. So let's go toe to toe with this. I have no problem with that. I do not think that men should be able to take pictures of their feet in social media posts at all, ever. And if anyone posts, I would be the post police. If you post, this is my office today, bragging like, look at where I am, no. Done. Especially the men's feet thing, gone, done, banned forever.
Now, is it because of the feet thing, or because it's been done so many times that it's annoying to you to see?
Column A, column B, but mostly because
Okay.
men have janky, ugly, gross feet. There's something just beautiful about a woman's pedicured foot and his beach behind it. You're like, that's fantastic. Look at that. That's something to behold. And then there's this guy's hairy old toes and his toenails are all. Forget that noise, man. No. Leave that to the women, men. Just you don't need to do it.
Which is just funny that's the thing that you would ban. If Mike Russell was the king of the world, I'd be like, this is what I ban.
Dude, I have a list. Are you kidding me? Come on. That was just at the top of the list because it's gross. It is. It's just gross. And I remember you said, Rob, that you don't have to look at it. I do. If I'm scrolling, you have to see it because there's this millisecond where you see a picture and you decide to stop or not. So your mind has to process that. Your eyes have to see it. And then you process it if you want to keep scrolling, stop and look, or vomit. And that makes me want to vomit.
How often do you see these pictures? Because maybe what you could do as an alternative is like, look it, here's my rule on my social media page. If you ever post a picture of your feet and you're a dude, I'm unfollowing you or I'm muting you or I'm blocking you. So then you just take the people out who are doing that. So you could actually control that maybe.
Well, I know, but then I lose everything else those dudes are doing and having fun. And a couple of them are hunters, and I want to congratulate them in those kind of moments. But then you'll have bare feet by the campfire, man. I want to.
You lost your privilege. Lost your Mike Russell posting privilege. Darn it!
No likes from me, son of a.
That's funny.
There has to be something that you would want to change. There has to be.
I've always thought I wanted to be in charge of who gets a license and who doesn't. You would have to pass Rob's driver's test. And like, okay, fair. Yeah, if you drive like an idiot, according to me, if I determine you drive like an idiot, you can't drive. Like, nope, you can't drive. Sorry, you're out. Bye-bye. Your license privileges have been revoked because you drive too slow in the fast lane. You drive like an idiot. You're checking your phone. All these things. Because, we discussed when we had Malcolm and Ryan on a couple podcasts back. And, one of my big fears is traffic accidents. My biggest fear. So I want to be in control of that situation if I could. But
can I follow up on that? I want to follow up on it because I thought about this on Wednesday driving into work for some reasons. Weird. No, Tuesday I was driving to work. And I thought, I guess somebody was zooming around me. Maybe they're in a Honda like yours. And it made me think about that podcast with Malcolm and Ryan. And I thought, if that's your biggest fear, I didn't even follow up with the simple chip shot question. Have you ever been in a pretty good sized traffic accident?
No.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So have you been a fender bender?
I was in a fender bender when I was probably 17 or 18 in a parking lot. I was leaving work at the supermarket and I'm cutting across and bang. Luckily, everybody was fine. The car had minor damage. Easily
and even though you're
fixable.
in one of the safest automobiles on the planet, you still like, it's just kind of in the back of your mind when you drive it.
Yeah, because there's so many factors that you can't control. So it's a control thing for me that I can control me. I can control how I drive, but I can't control how Mike drives or how you drive. And that's the part that I'm like, there's a lot of variables here that I need to be paying attention to.
So you actually know that I had an issue this week as well with my daughter, Thin Beans. And I was asked if she could drive across town essentially at night. She had been driving less than a month. And I told you that scared me. And that, because Rob and I talk all the time, pals for years. 14 now? Dear goodness, we're getting
we're together like at least 6 days a week.
Yeah.
If not 7 most weeks.
We're going to call it decade and a half soon. Wow. That's, that really scared me, but it offended her that I didn't have, as a dad, the confidence in her ability to drive at night. And I had to reassure her that this was not the case by any stretch. I trust her completely, except when I see her take off out of the garage and she's got it in drive and she should be in reverse, but it's okay. She quickly. And so I had to say, I don't trust everyone else. And I had to ask her, do you remember the first rule of driving that I gave you? The first rule of driving, she said, yes, Dad, assume everyone on the road is a blank hole. Yes. And I say, yeah, assume they're going to do stupid things. So you drive defensively.
Yeah. That's good advice. But that's a challenge too, because, this is now not just you. Now it's your little girl, your baby, your firstborn. And you're like, Gotta let go of those reins a little bit, but I don't know if
I saw her pull out of the garage with my youngest to take him to go get something to eat. I'm like, this is so normal and should be totally okay, but I am totally clinching right now. I'm like, this is, are we okay with this? You know, call her mom. Hey, did you okay this? Who said this was okay?
Like, let's put you back to being like 4 again. Let's rewind the clock a little bit here. Before I had to worry about such things.
I think I'm going with Rob on this, though. I think I'm going to come along with you on this because I really do appreciate some changes for driving. I do think texting and driving should be a bigger fine. I think it should be more
like
enforced.
To me.
I think it should be more enforced. And it's just so, especially if you're driving at night, like early morning or in the evening, you can see the glow of people's cell phones. And it's maddening to me. And then the worst of the worst, two things. If you're driving in the carpool lane at the speed limit, I want to take your license away. This is a turbo lane. That's the Autobahn. Stop. Second is if you don't wave when I let you in, I'm going to take you straight to jail. You're gone. There is a distinct rule. If I hit the brakes or let off the gas to let you in front of me, you need to wave.
It's common courtesy. That's all.
No, it's law. In my world, it's law. You need to wave. I do the whole like
wave or go to jail. Mike's
That's
rules.
Right. I do the big finger split, so I wave so people know I'm not flipping them off. Yeah. Like I do like a big wave, like hey, like a big parade wave. Hey, you see all 5 fingers? I'm not flipping you off. Yeah, I don't want to get
like
shot.
A beauty queen.
I ain't trying to get shot. Elbow, wrist, buddy. Elbow, wrist. See? Elbow, wrist. Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a movie parade wave to me.
Is it?
You got the what? I don't know if it is. Mm-hmm. Probably is. Someone probably said that. This is what we're going to talk about next because Mike quoted Tommy Boy earlier before the show. And I'm like, I haven't seen Tommy Boy in at least 20 years. So we're going to talk about movies we can quote and can't quote and how you try to relate to people through movies in just a moment. That'll be next here on the Brewmance 550 KFYI. Can you quote a bunch of movies? And does anyone listen when you quote those movies? Can anyone relate? We have these debates all the time, Mike and I, so we're going to have it today with you here on the Brewmance. Thanks for hanging out with us. We bring people together for well-crafted conversation over a drink or two. Each week, we feature a beer of the week. Mike, what are we drinking today?
We'll go with the VooDoo Ranger line. It seems like New Belgiums is trying to smack us in the face with it every time you hit any kind of beer aisle. And so why not? We'll give it a try. The VooDoo Ranger apparently dresses up like a Ken doll. He's got a different outfit for everything. Today, I'm going with the American Haze because I can't stand hazies. And I want to judge breweries by their hazy.
Aha. A new challenge here on the Brewmance. Mike's going to try to find hazies he likes and be like, listen, this is what you do. That's what I do. I judge Italian restaurants on their ability to make chicken parm. You know, it's a simple, easy dish. But that's it. Like, how do you make your chicken parm matters. If you're going to be like a good Italian restaurant, you got to nail the chicken parm.
I was fish and chips guy. I'll judge people. I'll judge restaurants on their fish and chips because I am a connoisseur of the fish and chip. Although I hate the crap they put on it. I don't like the
vinegar.
I hate it. I just want to taste your batter, your fish. Stop putting garbage on it. Stop squeezing citrus on it. I just want to taste the batter of the fish. That's how you cooked it. If you wanted it with the balsamic vinegar or whatever the heck that stuff is you put on it, why didn't you cook it with that? Yeah.
Or let me decide if I want to put it on or not.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So put it on the side. I'll dip it in if I want. If not, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we bring up movies because Mike quoted Tommy Boy. As we were getting ready for the show, we're just hanging out, getting ready. Like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And he quoted Tommy Boy. And I'm like, right over my head because I haven't seen Tommy Boy. It came out in 95. I haven't seen it probably since the 90s. I don't know why. It's a funny movie. I would like to revisit it. I don't know why. So I can't relate to the Tommy Boy quotes.
It actually holds up. And that's one of the reasons why I still quote it. When I was in college, I would rarely take notes because I really can retain a lot of things. Like especially if they're showing a video, whether it's high school, college, on video day, I can retain it. For some reason, if you put a master's degree on anything just in video, I would probably be able to ace anything. I'd have a degree in no time because that's just, and so I speak in movie quotes and it goes over so many people's heads so much that I'm doing it to entertain myself is really what I'm doing. If Rob gets it, that's great. I'll go, what? Nothing? No, don't get that one. Okay. All right. Moving on. Yeah. And I'm not going to judge you for it, because if you haven't seen Tommy Boy in 20 years, you haven't seen Tommy Boy in 20 years.
Right.
So you're not going to get any of the references, like sticking your head up a bull's, you know what, to get a better look at a T-bone steak, but you'd rather take the butcher's word for it. You probably don't understand what that means, but it's a Tommy Boy reference.
See? Yeah, I have no idea what that means. I'm like, okay. Great. And, you know, because they had another one. It was Chris Farley and David Spade. And they had what was the other movie that they did together? Didn't they do two?
I don't know.
All right, I'd have to look it up and see.
Oh, yeah, Black Sheep.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So I get the two confused, too, because I have not seen that one since basically it came out.
Terrible movie.
See, and that's the difference, too. And I'm like, I don't remember which one is which at this point. I'm like, I don't know. It's been so long. But I can quote you Tropic Thunder all day, every day. I can quote the whole movie. Dumb and Dumber, I can quote the whole movie. Good Will Hunting, I can quote the whole movie. So I can reference those ones easily because I've seen them multiple times. And I've seen them more recently than I have Tommy Boy.
So let me ask you this, because I have movies that I hold sacred movie line-wise, and it bothers me, and I mean really bothers me, when people misquote the movie. And even more so when people misquote a line and other people jump in and start laughing and misquoting it too. It makes me want to jump out of a window if I'm in that type of a setting. I'm like, I can't even deal with you people. I'm judging right now. I'm out. I'm gone.
You take your movie quotes seriously.
I do.
You should get those Hollywood writers like some credit, because they're the ones that typically write the lines and the actor delivers the lines. Sometimes the actor will ad-lib the line, but I think it's mostly the writers who don't get enough credit at all.
If somebody says, Luke, I am your father, I might come out of my freaking shoes. Just stop and quote the thing right. Stop. Knock it off.
But see, that's a funny thing about how it works, right? How language works. Because Luke, I am your father is probably repeated more than the actual line.
Which is no.
Yes.
I am
your father.
Yeah. There's no Luke.
So, no, but it makes it because you got to reference it right or something. I don't know. But somewhere along the line, that became sort of the talking point, the one that people say, including the word Luke in there, even though it's not actually in the movie. And it's like, oh, I'm sure I've done it because everyone else does it. So you think it's the line, even though it's not the line.
I bought the audio version of the Bible narrated by James Earl Jones just for chapter of Luke. That's it. That's just it. Luke. I love it. I think it's awesome. But it's tough for me though, because I hate it when people get after me about not having seen a movie like Shawshank Redemption. Everybody gets all booty hurt about the whole thing, and I can't believe you haven't seen it. I'm like, I can quote it because I've seen a few minutes of it.
Yeah,
something about being obtuse, and that's about it. That's about all I got. And so I don't get after people that haven't seen the movies that I'm quoting, with one mild exception. And that is that my brother in Brewmance, and how many beers we have drank together, has not seen the movie Beer Fest.
I know.
Like it's hard for me to deal with, but I try my best to be accepting of that and just say, okay, that's my man. Because I can quote Beer Fest like you can quote Dumb and Dumber. I've got it down cold. And we'll talk about Ram's piss at a whole different time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny thing about, as I get older, I watch less movies. I watch less television, and that's just one of the other challenges with all the jobs and things that I do. It just I don't have a lot of time to sit around, and I hate to say it like that, but I just don't have a ton of time, or I don't make the time is really the better way to say that, to make that a priority. So I would love to watch Tommy Boy, and I'm like, when am I going to do it? Where is it available? Okay, is it on a streaming service that I have? Do I have to rent it? So you got to find out where it's at. And you'd be like, okay, I got to sit down on like a Wednesday night and watch Tommy Boy.
Let me tell you this. This is from me to you, Rob. If you have to buy it, I will bring you the cash the next day I see you. It is something that you should have in your library. It is something like when you're just like messing around, cleaning the house, doing a project or something like that, to have in the background, and you're just laughing the whole time. It'd be like having Tropic Thunder playing in the background. You just laugh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. Guess the lines, and here you go. I'm gonna look it up right now. See where it is.
Yes. Okay.
See if it's streaming anywhere.
I promise you, if it's anything under $30, so let's do. I do have a limit. So if it's under $30, it's on me. It's an early Christmas present for you, pal.
Oh yeah. Now it says Netflix. It has the N, but I have to look and see. It also says it's on AMC.
No, I actually do think it's on Netflix because intern Sarah was saying, she's like, how many times have you watched Tommy Boy since it's been on Netflix? And I was like, once. But yeah, am I late? Am I behind? Do I need to catch up?
Yeah.
But I want to have it in the background. But you know us, we're such baseball junkies. It's baseball season. So background anything is the baseball game. So
yeah, exactly.
It is what it is. But then baseball season will end, and then it will go back to, if it's raining outside, Harry Potter will be, or one of the movies will be on in the background because that's what Jillian would want to watch. And that's just how we do things.
And see, for me, background is music. It's always music. It's either a Spotify playlist that they drum up, or a Pandora playlist, or sometimes I like to just be the DJ, and I just like to sit there and all right, I'm going to pick the song. I'm going to play this next and play this next.
Fair enough.
So I spend more time on that than I do movies.
I think one of the most enjoyable things around a campfire, when you're hunting, camping, whatever you're doing, at any kind of camp, is that you have everybody linked into a speaker, and then you just round robin. No, you got to check this song out. You got to check this song out. And everybody plays something from there. Just kind of go in an order, and you play a song that's important to you, something that you like, something you think everyone like, or something you think everybody hate, but you like, whatever. Torture people. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I do like the background, the music background stuff. It's just it hurts me a little bit that you just said that, because it's a issue of tension here at the Russell House, because I got conned into a Spotify Pro, or whatever you call it, where you got to pay the family plan service. Yeah, my wife listens to free Pandora every time there's music on in the house. I'm like, what? Why am I listening to a commercial right now?
We paid for the Spotify.
I haven't set it up yet. Your son hasn't set it up for me yet. John, get out here now. And then
this is a priority. Number one priority in the house.
I'm paying for it. I just bought Uncle Rob a Tommy Boy movie. I got no money.
Exactly. Come on, man. Yeah, we do the Sonos system where it's all wireless. You control it from your phone, but we have it in multiple rooms. So you can do different rooms. So like if Lady Brewmance wants to listen to something, she can listen to something in the office. I can listen to something in the living room. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It's pretty cool.
Is Sonos like a service like Spotify?
No, they do have a music service of their own, but there's basically wireless speakers. I mean, you need an outlet plug. So you plug them in, and then you control it with an app, and you can put Pandora, you can put Spotify, you can put, your own music on there from your phone. Cool. It's a pretty cool system. Yeah, except when it doesn't work, because it's all Wi-Fi based. In a moment, we'll rate and review the beers of the week here on the Brewmance. Thanks for hanging out with us on 550 KFYI.
Now, hold up a minute on this fun is hard work thing. I have a thought. But first, we gather around a beer of the week each and every week. Rob Hunter, what are we drinking?
We're going with a VooDoo Ranger line from New Belgium. Different beers, but why not? Mine is the V2K IPA. Mike, what do you got this week?
America. I got the American Haze. I'm not a hazy fan, so I'm looking for someone that can impress me with their hazy. We'll get to that in just moments. We do appreciate you being here. Early in the program, because on the podcast, if you missed it, we were talking about fun is hard work. We were talking about the effort that we have gone through with the hunts that we were on, camping trips, traveling to Japan, and the like. And it's just, there's a lot of hard work. What we failed to mention, at least what I failed to bring up, was something that's very important. Something that is, I think, Zen-like, if you see it that way. And that is getting back. So when I pulled the truck up after being on a hunt or a camping trip or anything, as a camping trip with the family, everybody bounces out. Just get out, go. You guys go, take showers, do whatever you want to do, watch TV, watch a movie, don't care. That time of putting everything away, or just, let's be honest, throwing it in the garage. I'm not that much of an organized person, but that time of just reminiscing, maybe a neighbor sees you doing that and they come over, you crack open a beer and you just talk about the stories of the adventure that you just had, and all of that is one of the most fantastic times of any adventure, if you allow it to be that way. And if you own that as your own, I'm telling you, it's life-changing.
See, that's very interesting because it really is the power of perspective in a way. It's the idea that you can control the narrative on anything, that you can believe what you want, essentially. You can believe that it's hard work and it sucks and, oh my God, I got to drive to Flagstaff and get this meat. Or you can be like, wow, I have a car that will take me to Flagstaff to pick up meat from a hunt that I went on that someone else processed, and I paid them not a lot of money to process this meat. Like, I was very surprised at how affordable the processing of the meat is. Like, I don't know, it's like $1 a pound or something like that. So you're getting this organic meat, grass-fed meat, or whatever the modern term would be. And look at all of those things. Like, always look at the positive and say, okay, great. Even if it sucked, an experience sucked, what were the lessons you learned from it? You can do all of that. So I love where you're going with that, Mike.
I think, but we're coming at it from different spots. I rarely think I really walk out of my man cave, walk to the truck and go, oh, I'm just a lucky man for having an F-150. I am a lucky man for having what I have, but I really think of it that way. And here's the deal. I'm going to kind of drill down on what I'm saying here. I never take multiple things out of the truck to where they go. It's one at a time because I want to draw it out. I want that just alone time, quiet time, or just, like I said, Camping Chad comes over with a beer and says, let's talk, tell me all about it. That kind of cool stuff that I want that time. It's kind of like I know it's children's programs. It's kind of like an afterglow. It's just that time where you just want to be in that moment. And you just want to, I know it's still hard work. You're still putting stuff away. You're drying out coolers and you're putting stuff in fridge that's wet from ice and all that. And it's kind of, but if you just do it one at a time and you just be in that moment, I'm telling you, it is a whole different, it's like a sequel to the adventure. Sequels are never as good as the original, but sequels can be just as entertaining and just as beneficial. So the time after the adventure, whether it's, you coming back from, like Rob mentioned, his trip to Japan, coming back, and maybe he said, something, Lady Brewmance, why don't you go in there? I got everything taken care of. I'm going to take care of it and get everything out of the, I'm going to get everything in suitcases. I'm going to get the clean put away, the lawn, dirty. I'm just going to do this on my own. And you do that for a moment, I'm telling you, it'll change your attitude about big adventures.
Yeah, I like that because it allows you to take it in too. So it becomes part of you if you do that. Mm-hmm. As you move on to the next thing and you automatically just like, I'll go to the next thing. You sometimes can miss those opportunities because you want something to stay with you. You gotta let it marinate. You gotta give it some time. And then get back to that narrative. That's that narrative you get to choose in a way. You can be like, okay, so we went hunting. It was a 3.5 hour drive. You could focus on, oh man, that's a long drive. It was really boring. And you can be like 3.5 hours in the car by myself, or, like Mike and I drove back from Flagstaff. Justin and I, because we went up late, the Earn Your Booze CEO, we went up together. So I got some time with him. And, there's all these different things to focus on and be like, dang, it's great to be alive. That's essentially what I'm getting at here. Like, we just challenged ourselves. We just did something new. We just got us out of our comfort zone. And yes, I love that idea of taking time, like, let me just take this all in. Like what I did one night after the hunt. So we had hung out Saturday and, because we were done by like 10:30 in the morning or something like that. And they were processing the meat. So we had some snacks, we had a beer, we had a conversation. But after everybody went to bed, I sat down with my journal and I just wrote what I was thinking because I want to be able to look back at that and say, that was my immediate thought after the hunt, which is pretty cool because I took the time to do it. Even though I'm like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, I should go to sleep, but I'm going to take 25, 30 minutes. I'm just going to write this out.
I was gone.
Oh,
I was passed out. I was done. But okay, I think it's a good point to bring up when I'm talking about that whole afterglow thing. Roll up to the house, you got to put all the stuff away. You're not making a to-do list. You're not thinking about what you have to do tomorrow. You're not doing any of that. You're not stressing out about work. You're just thinking about that moment, that one piece of something that you're putting away. It keeps your mind busy and it keeps you reflecting on what you just did and what you could do better next time, what you need for next time, and just getting it. There's some anticipatory benefits there as well. I just think it's a good thing to not just ram everything somewhere in a closet and just try to move on to the next thing you're doing.
100%. And that could go every day. Like if you took a couple minutes every day to just kind of think about your day and be like, okay, what did I learn today? Or what was my favorite part of the day? Or did I have any really cool moments of the day? Did I have any really cool thoughts of the day? It just changes your whole perspective. Because, we talked about a few weeks ago, I attended a Tony Robbins event. I've been to several. And one of the things I've learned out of those Tony Robbins event is, number one, that I am in control. But number two, taking that time for yourself to essentially be with yourself, to spend time with yourself it's phenomenal. Like, I never thought as a kid it's a good idea I'm just going to hang out with myself. Now I like it because I'm like, oh, where's my mind going to go today? And let's see if I can come up with new things to theorize about that we can talk about on Russell and Hunter or on the Brewmance.
I dream of spending time by myself. That's my daily daydream. I love spending time by myself. I really do. And one of the things I learned this week, because the temperature dropped like that. So we went just to winter now, apparently, here in Arizona. And so I was driving back from getting my oil changed, and I put all 4 windows down because it was like 68 degrees. I'm like, how can I not love this? I had a great song playing on the radio, and I rolled down the window. And let me tell you something. There's nothing in the world that can expose how much loose paper you have in your car or truck than rolling all 4 windows down and hitting 45. It becomes one of those money grab machines where a tornado and you're trying to grab. Yeah. So it took a Zen moment, and I had to kind of reset after that because I was I was losing receipts, and it was
I need that. Oh, there it goes. It's out of here.
And someone else will find that.
That's fine.
My accountant will be fine. He'll take my word for it. Yeah, sure.
No problem. It's on the credit card bill somewhere. But speaking of wrapping up, we are wrapping up here on the Brewmance. Time to rate and review our beers. Mike, you get to go first.
Oh, I do. All right. VooDoo Ranger American Haze. I'm not a hazy fan. I don't like the lactosey heavy feel to it. I just do not. I hate that. What New Belgium did was almost eliminate that.
Nice.
This is a very light hazy. I'm enjoying a light hazy. And it's not a light. It's not billed as light. It's just this is an American haze. And I was like, okay, fantastic. It's not heavy, super light, drinkable. For hazies, holy cow, this is drinkable. So yeah, this is it going to freak you out right now. As a hazy, 8.5.
Woo!
I'd drink this again and again. I'd buy this in its own 12-pack.
Nice.
I think it's fantastic. John,
that's a big score from Mike on a hazy right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So mine is the V2K IPA, which it's a good beer, but I don't know that it has a defining characteristic. It's easy to drink. It's got a slight bitterness, but I'm not sure that this is a beer that I'm like, I'm going to keep grabbing. And the VooDoo Ranger series is pretty good. I've had several of them. I'm not mad at it. It's just okay. So I'm going to give it an okay 7. Like, it's worth drinking. Maybe you have a different opinion on it. So if you do find the V2K, let us know. Reach out to us
light?
and see.
Is it too light for you?
Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't pop, right? It's just okay. 6.9%. So it's got a decent amount of ABV in it. It just, I don't know how I'd describe it. It just tastes like a beer. I wouldn't be like, oh, that's the V2K. Like, certain beers have certain things that like Tower Station, boom.
Yep.
Northeast IPA from Brian Helton has a characteristic to it. It just doesn't do it. But it still gets a 7. So give it a shot. On that note, we got to get out of here. We are the Brewmance. His name is Mike Russell. My name is Rob Hunter. Hit us up on Instagram at _Brewmance. Cheers at brewmance.beer if you want to send us an email. And, of course, the radio show Saturday night, 6 to 7 p.m. on 550 KFYI in Phoenix and on your iHeartRadio app. So until next week.
Cheers, everybody.